market on Kickstarter.
This is my Amazing Race recap.
We are the world of Warcraft. So here's to the Worgen.
The druid's the paladin.
The level 90 Pandaren maid. I'm counting the views. I'm counting the views in YouTube.
It's because of you guys that my touring is going so well.
So all over YouTube today, people are making videos about their favorite nonprofit organization.
I'm Rebecca Lando, author of the Working Class Beauties Cookbook.
Touch anything here and see what happens. We hit 2 million subscribers, and I'm naked. What are you working on?
We are actually going to be featured in the Denver Pride Parade.
We're at YouTube Space LA, celebrating our 1 billionth view.
Today is a very, very special day.
We've hit 2 million subscribers. There's over 10 million of you now, which is crazy. Millions tuned into YouTube to watch the Space Jump via live stream.
If our AV team can help us to connect the speakers, because I think it was picking the mic for the next one, but you're going to be asking yourself, what about Hispanic creators, right? Well, you may have picked their Hola, soy Germán. For those who don't know him, he's the 4th largest, most subscribed channel in the whole world, way above most of these channels. And what these channels have in common is that they come from very different verticals: broadcasters, record labels, independent creators, and different levels. And they are creating very dynamic and flourishing businesses. But one thing remains the same amongst them, and that's that YouTube is the absolute best place to create a fan base. And you may have noticed I didn't use the word audience, and that's on purpose. For over 60 years, media has, the media industry has concentrated in created largest amounts of eyeballs and created success around that. But now we think that you can create something better, something bigger, and that's the fan base. If you ask us at YouTube what's the difference, we think it's about passion. Really, YouTube is a platform built by passionate people for passionate people. And that's the main idea that I want to leave you today. We're going to open some other questions and things and open to respond to anything else, but please think about creating a fan base and engaging with a fan base, not an audience.
Thank you, Juanjo. Can everyone hear me? Hola, mi gente. How are you guys? Okay, I see a thumbs up in the back. It is great to be here, and I thank Juanjo for kicking it off. We'll go back and forth. We definitely want to open it for Q&A. But as he said, the difference between last year and this year, and I see a lot of familiar faces. It's great to see a lot of you here again. And what we're excited to share is more of the creator side, right? Your story, because you've seen the stats. I have one slide with numbers in case you really want them. We have some good information there, but it's really more interesting to share what you all are doing with our platforms. And what I'm excited about is sharing kind of the 1, 2, 3 of multicultural marketing. So as you know, my name is Eliana Murillo, and I started Multicultural at Google about 1.5 years ago. And it has grown tremendously. I'm proud to say a majority of my team is in the second row here. So thank you for being here. And it's very exciting to see, thanks guys. Thank you to them for being here. It's exciting to see the growth of what multicultural means for YouTube and Google internally, and the fact that the room is packed. I can't thank you enough for being here with us. So the 1, 2, 3 of what we're doing. One, the idea is how do you create one Latino experience on the web? We're so diverse. I can't even count how many countries are represented in this room, different dialects of Spanish, of English, of Spanglish. And how do you think of that in a digital playing field? And so it's my responsibility, my duty is to make sure that Latinos are well represented at the table at Google. And the two sides of things is, one thing is bringing Google magic to you. purely Google, not from a Latino perspective. Just access is the word that we love for our community, right? We really, really need it. So my job is to make sure that you all get the best and greatest of Google content so that you know what's out there. You have a friend at Google, you have 2 friends in a row of them who are looking out for you. How can we make sure that you get the most compelling information that's going to help you grow your content on the web, grow your business online, help your family members find information about education, all the above. And the other is giving Google a little flavor of Latino. This is one of the first most public things I approved at Google, and I was so excited for it because we're honoring La Reina del Salsa, Celia Cruz, and that was a huge moment for me. This is a doodle that was public to the entire country, and when I saw the news reports of how crazy Miami went when they saw I mean, I see nods. Who's a fan of Celia Cruz in the room? Okay, every single hand is up. Thank you very much for agreeing with that. She's a big deal, and for me to be able to say internally to Google that this is important for the community, and I got a question, is the whole country going to understand this? I said, well, the people who are excited about it will definitely understand, and not just Latinos saw this. There's people of all backgrounds who care about Celia for her passion. That's one of the key words we're going to talk about, is why passion is so important. How do you bring passion into a digital space that's made of pixels and code, right? That's really different. So I'll let you click in. So the 3 components here I'm going to share, I want to start with, this is a representative slide of the passion it took to build Multicultural. A lot of people interact with me through social media and want to know what's the backstory of Multicultural, how did this even begin? So I thought I would share that really quickly before we get into what's relevant to you in terms of the products. The backstory is that multicultural marketing at Google began with passionate Googlers. So I reached out to a friend of mine internally and said, I want to help Latinos use our products in a different way. We have YouTube, US Hispanic, we have, that was growing at the time. Actually, we didn't even call US Hispanic yet. It was just an idea. We had Hispanic sales, but I thought the product side, we don't have some team looking at how we can bridge the two. And it wasn't because of lack of interest, it was just someone had to take it on, you know. And as soon as I said I want to do this, there was tons of support, which I'm excited about. And so one of the first initiatives we did, you know, I told you to 2 things, right? One is bringing Google content and information to Latinos. So this is a Get Your Business Online initiative. It's a national initiative all over the country, and part of a global initiative. But these are specific pictures from one component we did, which is Get Your Business Online con Google. We got to make it a little bilingual, a little Spanglish. And the idea is that we had Latino Googlers, this is an event in Miami as well as in LA, teach Latino business owners how to make businesses, how to make websites for their businesses online. Because we know that more than half of those small business owners don't have a website. That means that, you know, we are all Googling, searching for products and services. When you search that and Latino businesses aren't represented, they're invisible. It's our job to make sure that they have access to that future customer that's searching for them, or, you know, that review that they need that's going to put them over, you know, put them on the map. So this is really exciting for us, and that evolved into, which you can share, the 3 things I'm talking about. I'm leading with 3 themes that are really important to me. It's engage, educate, and empower, and that's really what we're here to do. So the first is an example of engaging. So I met one of my favorite singers, salseros, Mark Anthony, and that was really exciting for me. But what I was excited about, this is a hangout on air. And it was an opportunity to share a conversation with him, with his fans. So this is, again, the word access. So Mark Anthony fans who never would be able to meet him in person got to hang out with them from their home on the laptop, and that's really the magic of what the Hangout can do. It's connecting people into conversations that they never would have before, and that, we know that's important for Latinos, to be included, to represent all different countries and have a seat at the table. And when I think about what can blogueras do with Hangouts, I'll talk about what they're doing with it. What can teachers do with Hangouts? There's so much use for it. So my job is to make sure you guys see some examples, and then you do incredible things with that. So the next one. Another thing we did, 2 blogueras who aren't present, but I know majority of you know them, Mommy Maestra, Monica Olivera, and then the Wise Latina Club, who is Viviana Hurtado. They approached, I see some nods, they're powerhouse bloggers. They approached me about, not this act, this is the output of what we did. They approached me about a summer reading program for Latino children, and they said, we want to get 300 Latino students to read over the summer with a cool campaign online. And I said, do you mind if we 10x that idea? Because Google's all about 10xing things. Let's make it bigger than we imagined. So we created Hangouts on Air with Latino writers, with authors. As we did, we encouraged students to upload YouTube videos about their book reviews rather than sending them in by hand, which I did not enjoy doing as a kid. I'm going to show you a slide of these students that uploaded YouTube videos, and it was really, really awesome. And so we saw, you know, part of it is having, part of my role is how we can have a role in the community, getting insights about what do Latinos want, what do they need, and then looking at the data. education is very important to us. We know that Latino fourth graders, males, only 18% are at reading level. That's really unfortunate. So I brought that information internally, and I worked with the Google Play team to launch this Hispanic Heritage collection that was bilingual for Hispanic Heritage Month, Latino authors and Latino stories. And the idea is Latinos don't just read Latino content. You all are reading a lot of other information, but you want to be culturally relevant, right? So this was exciting for us because we got to show Latinos that there is a lot of content there. I didn't ask them to put these books online. They were actually already present. My job is to make sure you all know that they're there. And how can you all help spread the word? So we had people blogging and tweeting about it. We are represented. Our stories are on the Google Play Store. And that was a beautiful moment for me, to be able to show the community that they already were there. Now we just need to shine a light on it. So the next slide is about empowering. This is one of the young girls who shared her story, and it was so adorable. And she told her version of the story, and she was all about the issues in the book and the narrative that was really compelling for her. And I got to share this video internally, and everyone was like, oh my God, this is a little creator. She better be in the programs Juan was talking about one day, because she has really cool stories to tell, and now she feels empowered to share her story online, which is just amazing. How many of you have had family members post a video on YouTube? You're present. We haven't been present before like that. It's pretty remarkable. So then the next slide on the empower topic is once a year I'm fortunate enough to get together with what we call the top 100 Latina blogueras, and the list constantly grows. And I get to, there's some in the room, which is really exciting. What I do is I come in and show them how to use Google products. How can they use them for all their different initiatives as blogueras, as voices in our community, as advocates for the things that they care about. This just happened. I literally took a screenshot of this morning on my phone. This was a hangout that just happened. It was Latina bloggers hangout on air with U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services. That hangout happened because they knew how to use the technology to reach out to this U.S. Secretary, and they had a really, really interesting conversation about Latino issues. That's another amazing moment to me, where we see conversations happening for the very first time with a community that Kathleen seems like a wonderful person, and we actually really appreciate her for her interest, but now we appreciate her because she took the time to sit down and have a conversation. And now this technology is bridging the two. So I definitely just want you to leave you with the note about how proud we are and how much you inspire us, because you're giving us the great ideas of what comes next. And if our role as a platform company is just to create tools that allow you to express yourselves, you're doing a great job. And so I want to publicly announce that I will be launching my own blog finally. And every year, every year I come to these events, Hispanicize, Latism, everyone says, when are you going to start blogging? And I've been talking the talk, right? I've been telling you all, go share your stories and upload your videos, and I haven't done it. And so I want to thank you all for inspiring me to finally take the plunge. And I'm going to ask you for advice, because I work with the AdSense team. I've never monetized my own content. I'm going to explore that. I want to take part of all the exciting things that you guys are doing too. So thank you to everyone nodding for encouraging me to do it. And yeah, I'm going to be learning best practices from you, and I think that's the goal, right? Is we're all learning from each other, learning best practices. And I hope you'll check out my blog when it goes live.
And I think the amazing thing is that everything comes together in one platform. When you talk about one blog, it's going to come with a Google Plus page. It's going to come with a YouTube channel. It's going to come with a lot of tools that you're going to be able to tap into the fan base. And I think at the end of the day, that passion and that fan base, we're just able to tap in as a company because of what's happening today with the internet and with technology enables nowadays easily to share whatever story you want and to be as passionate as you may want. So do you mind if I...
Yeah, well, how about the last slide is just the very end.
Sure.
This is just the stuff everyone wants to know, so we brought it. This is information that is available on the internet that we just consolidated into one slide. I see a lot of picture taking, feel free to share that. That's all public information, like I said. A lot of it is from our friends at Nielsen. That gradient of language is our day-to-day. It's our daily life. It's how bilingual we are and how diverse we are in how we navigate the web. So we know that now only 9% of US Latinos use the internet in Spanish exclusively. Because we're talking in Spanish, a veces quiero hablar en Spanglish, my abuelita speaks to me in Spanish, my grandma, my other grandma speaks to me mostly in English. Like, it goes back and forth. So we're so aware of that, and we want to make sure you know that we're taking that into account, and that the key is always cultural relevance, because that's our life. We know that that's what's needed to engage people online. So if you're a blogger, You're writing about that every day. If you're a marketer trying to figure it out, how do you align a branded product with the community? You know, it's a lifestyle experience. All the brands that are doing such a great job outside with activations, it's all around themes of familia, of trust, of moving forward, you know, all that. So the stats are there because now we know the who, which is our community. We know the why because it's very important to reach them and you know, engage them. We're the fastest growing demographic of everything, of consumers, small business owners, wealth creators. But the where is now very important. The where is on smartphones, 28%. So when you're thinking of how to build a website, make sure it's mobile friendly. When you're thinking about social media, you're all tweeting. I told my team, when you come to Hispanicize, you'll see that most people are looking down, and they're not being rude, they're actually tweeting everything we're saying. So if you want to tweet these stats, feel free. And then 66% wish there was content for Latinas like me. I know I'm looking for it. When I asked my coworker, Diana Garcia, there's two Dianas with us, Diana Garcia, we were going to go to a concert about a year ago. And honestly, it was a reggaeton concert. So she's like, what do I wear to a reggaeton concert? So she Googled it. Okay. She found some
Do we have pictures?
Unfortunately, you can't Google those pictures. But she Googled it. And she found information from blogueras like you guys about fashion trends in the US for US Latinas. We want to see more of that. And you guys are making that content that we can find. I'm as much a consumer as I am a part of the Google world. So I benefit from this as much as you all do. So please keep creating that content because it helps all of us. And then 68% more, this is how we tie it back to Juanjo's world. You know, we're all interconnected. It's the video. I would like to give credit to all the great novelas that got our madres empicadas sitting in front of the TV for years. That must have been it, because we love video more than anything. So when you are a blogger writing content, know that we love your written content. That is so important for your SEO, and you're creating the internet we're organizing. Google is just a search engine. It's really all your information. But when you think about YouTube, you know, I said, I'm going to start a blog, and then Juanjo reminded me, it comes with a YouTube channel, so okay, I'll do a YouTube channel too, because that's really what engages people. So now he's raising the stakes for me. I'm going to do the YouTube too. But when you think about, like I said, the content creation portion, how are you making sure that that is as accessible as possible to the viewer? Is your YouTube strategy as much a priority to you as your written content? For the brands, the marketers in the room, YouTube, are you using that? And we talk about YouTube, but it's video overall. YouTube is now so trafficked. It's a platform, YouTube and Google+. They're platforms for discovery. So when I'm watching...
Let me share some stats now that you entered. 1 billion uniques on YouTube each month. 100 hours uploaded every minute to YouTube. 6 billion hours of video are watched each month on YouTube. And guess what? Latinos on YouTube over-index in each category. So when we are talking specifically on how the users are engaging with the platform, we are doubling those numbers when you're talking specifically about Latinos in the US.
I think that's a good closing. The numbers are pretty impressive. I can't add more to that, but we would love to hear from you guys.
And something else to complement that, 40% of traffic today on YouTube comes from mobile devices. So that's huge, and that has been tripling year after year for the past 3 years. So when you think about those numbers, really create content along those lines, take that into consideration. And I just want to share another video. Sure.
Go for it, yeah.
Sure? Let me just share our vision about that fan base. And at Google, we think about what others call millennials as Generation C. So it's not about an age group, it's not about a specific demo, it's about being connected, being creative, and sharing. And that's what makes unique our platform. So,
we're the instant gratification generation, and YouTube is that perfect source for that.
I got to know what's going on every single day.
If you think about movies, right? In the beginning, they were just, people got everything. From the movie theater, there'd be a newsreel and a cartoon before the picture. That's what YouTube presents, but with this dynamic aspect of choice.
I don't care if it's shot with a professional camera. I want the information I'm watching to be engaging.
After I've shared a video, I like to see if people watched it or see what they thought about it.
I love my guy friends, but I don't connect with them. And after I watch College Humor for like about an hour, I feel like I'm ready to be somebody's bro.
Not only do I have a chance to look at the content, but then I can tell them what I thought of it. That
more community-based than television. You have conversations and comments.
It's more relatable because they don't have like a whole chain of command to probably like go through to like put out this content.
Oh, should I not share her video because that's like, oh, she posted it? And I noticed 148,000 people shared that video, so I didn't feel bad sharing it as well. I'm creating to share with people.
People have always been creative, but the means to get that message out there is more accessible.
It's a good way to learn about languages too. Like currently I'm trying to learn French, so I've been going on YouTube. My French is very bad. I'm still learning. Je ne parle français, which means I'm not good at French.
YouTube, I feel, is a book full of possibilities that never ends. You can find anything you want on YouTube.
So should we open it for Q&A?
Yes, we're going to open it up to questions. So anyone in the audience that has a question, please raise your hand.
After the Q&A, I'll share one last piece, but just so you know, the hashtag we're using is Soy Google, as inspired by my blogueras who prompted that of me. So if you want to hashtag that, I'll be checking on my phone too if any questions from the audience, but we'd love to hear live. Anyone have a question for us? Soy, S-O-Y, Google.
In regards to content, you guys are creating some pretty cool content of your own, such as the Mark Anthony Hangout. I know you guys are doing other hangouts with other influencers in the Latino space. Where can the public go to see these videos, these hangouts that you guys are posting?
Yeah, so Google Plus is the secret weapon tool we love to use, so that's where we do our hangouts on air. That's generally where you'll see them featured when we're about to do one. So for example, we just got to do one with We Seen, which was really fun. We've done some with Congress members and students from FIU, for example, about pursuing higher education. And what I actually love is sharing the hangouts that our partners are doing. So we've trained, for example, Voto Latino, and they did a really interesting hangout about the Affordable Care Act, which is awesome, information our community really, really needs. So Google Plus is generally where you can go, and I would encourage you all to connect with each other because they're always sharing. I feel like I see a lot of faces in the room that are constantly sharing on Google Plus, a lot of the hangouts that your community members are doing and that we are too, so that's definitely the place to go.
So Google Hangouts is a feature of Google Plus, but then you can save those Hangouts onto YouTube as well. So are those saved as YouTube videos on any particular channel?
Yeah, so generally it depends on the artist or participant we're working with, but thank you for sharing the context of it. So for those of you unfamiliar, a hangout is a conversation for up to 10 people online, and then a hangout on air means that the same conversation can be broadcasted live from Google Plus to YouTube, and so it live streams it there, and it also saves it. So if, for example, if you go to We Seen's YouTube channel now, you'll see the hangout we did there recorded from Google Plus, and then you can share that YouTube link to anyone live. So I've literally texted my mom, we're about to go live, watch this link, and she'll tune in from California into the hangout I'm doing in New York, which is pretty cool.
And the amazing thing is that you're empowering the content creator to share it, edit it, or do whatever they want. It's not, the decision is not on the platform. The decision is on the creator.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions out there?
Sure.
Yes?
Great to have you.
I'm curious to know what, from your side, the Google and YouTube side, what your take is on some of the networks that are popping up all over the place. I know a lot of YouTube partners get contacted by a lot of these different networks that are popping up, and so I wanted to get a little bit of insight from your side. Is it something you recommend?
Sure.
Like how to actually
Sure, I can check. I think the easiest way to explain that is think about TV and think about the people that represent you on TV. At the end of the day, we are the platform, and that's another relation. We cannot recommend you to go and do some relations on a third-party basis. We can only recommend you that whatever you do, make sure it makes sense for you. As in any relation, it's a give and take. So there are amazing examples of things that MCNs are doing for the platform. In this market, we have Me Too doing amazing things with content that they create and develop with affiliates, because it works differently. They can create content and they can put it under their umbrella, and then they can reach out to YouTube partners like you and ask you to be part of the network. So most networks have different levels of things that they can help you with. So it's a decision that you need to make on your own, but it's easy to understand if you have that into consideration, like in TV. It's somebody that will be there for you, so just make sure that's a back and forth relation on both sides.
And for those who aren't familiar, how does a network work?
So the network, basically they are affiliating channels, or they are creating, and they send out invites. So you would receive an invite over the email that it's related to your YouTube channel. What I'm trying to realize here, or make you realize here, that what you need to do is make sure what are your expectations about that relation. So and make a decision. We don't get into those relations, and there are anything that I can tell you is that there are amazing cases of success. Think about Machinima, and think about the amazing fan base that they are gathering in some specific genres. And some of them, they are tapping into larger audiences and with brands, for example. And now brands are creating content for YouTube. So it's a relation that it's very successful, but you need to take the decision at the end of the day for your own.
Okay. Anyone else?
I saw hands up earlier.
Yes, in the back.
Okay. Hi. Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, where do you see Google Plus going in the next 5 years?
Oh, sure. So Google Plus is interesting. I think people make that comparison all the time. It's actually pretty different than a lot of other social media networks. So metrics of success are very different. So Google Plus has features that allow you to +1 things and comment, but it's actually, the real purpose is more for discovery. So I think what I love most about Google Plus for someone who's creating and wanting to engage is when people Google you, they can find your Google Plus information. So a lot of times people ask me, taking a step back from Google Plus, they ask me, how do I just show up as #1 on Google search? Like, they want the top spot. Everyone wants to know, how do you show up as high as possible? And when you really do a great job with your Google Plus page, you put in all your information and your links and you're posting all the time and you share publicly, that information shows up at the top. So it's really, we normally don't talk about SEO as a company because we want it to be up to the creator to create the content you want and all that. But Google Plus is kind of rethinking the information experience with social. So a lot of it means more tactfully, there are elements of Google Plus, for example, you can create a community. And you can, like for example, National Geographic made a community of explorers. And that's non-branded, but they made a community and all these people found it. They never knew each other. Google Plus is a network that is not based on your existing personal network. Like, we could all be friends on any platform now, but what happens when we leave the room? You need to post information that's going to attract people that normally wouldn't meet you day to day. It's not an existing friend, or they wouldn't count your shout on a social network. So instead, how can you find people by sharing information where they are? It's kind of a tool you can leverage you can proactively go out and interact with people rather than just kind of waiting for them to find you. Another example is latinamom.me, another amazing bloguera, Maura Hernandez. She has done phenomenal things with her Google Plus page because it's a content site for Latina moms, and she went and found all these mommy communities online. And she started posting about all the content they had on their blog, on their website. She posted it in those communities. They just reached over 100 million, well, the way we phrase it is, over 100 million people have her Google Plus page in their circles, which is phenomenal. And now what I love about her story is she is now seen as the most savvy digital expert as her company that is not about Latinas, it's general market women. So she had to help her company rethink the success that they're looking for on the platform, so they can now drive more traffic to their site. They're looking at Google Analytics to think about how their traffic is coming to their site, where is the inbound from, and how are they sharing more dynamic information, because the conversation has changed. It's not about a +1, we like those, but it's actually about what is the action someone takes after they find that information. Whether or not they +1 or comment, they're doing something with that, and how can you kind of make that part of your strategy? Thanks, good question.
There's a deep level of integration between Google Plus and YouTube. Can you guys talk about that integration a little bit and perhaps some strategies to enhance your Google Plus presence by leveraging YouTube?
Yeah.
I think I'll tap into the most important one. I mean, besides what Ellie just shared, that when you are doing a Hangout, you have the ability to later share that video on your YouTube channel. I think the most important one is the commenting system. And think about all the comments you used to see on a YouTube clip that you were engaging with. Most of them, just as the example with the social media or other social media platforms, most of them were coming from people you really don't know, or most important, you really don't care. With the integration of the commenting system, the circles that are part of your network within Google Plus are going to be in the first place. So even if Ellie did a comment on Mark Anthony video 6 months ago, and then I found that I love that because I just listened to that last night, I'm gonna see that she likes that, and next time that I see her, it's not gonna be lost in the 3,000 comments over there. Another important feature that is something good for you to know is that you can tap and analyze where those commentings are coming from. So usually the 80-20 rules, that says that most of your traffic is going to be coming from the less amount of the users that are engaging with your channel. You can tap and create circles and then communicate specifically with those circles that are part of the feature of Google+, but within your YouTube channel. So you can engage with them and you can tell them, hey, here's a clip. I'm gonna be releasing this in, let's say, in a couple of days. It's for your eyes only. Tap into it, and once we release it, please help me to share it. Usually, those users that are engaged with your content are the ones that help you create the most. They create a ripple effect. So I think both the circle and commenting system are the two facts that are the most amazing within the integration.
Yeah. And I think just back to the idea around the ability to just create more content, I think when I put myself in your shoes and thinking about, am I going to post another video of myself on YouTube? Maybe not. I see a lot of the blogueras thinking like, that's a lot of work and it's kind of not as exciting anymore. But when you can post a Hangout, which is going to live on your YouTube channel, I know these first two rows, a lot of you are nodding because I've seen your content. You guys are doing an amazing job of actually creating Hangouts where you can bring a community together. And what I think has been amazing has been how smart you all have been pairing a Hangout with a Twitter party or any kind of social presence aggregate where you're driving comments on different platforms. I support the whole ecosystem. I think that's really compelling, right? Your content needs to live and breathe in different places on the web. So I've actually seen people who have reached out through social media to someone they've never met before, have invited them to join a Hangout on air, and that now lives on their YouTube channel. That's pretty remarkable because you didn't have to go find that person live. And especially for Latinos, a lot of times we wait to be invited. You know, wait to be invited over and have a conversation. You don't have to wait anymore. You can actually just reach out to them through social media and connect with them from wherever they are. Another example of that is we did a Hangout with President Obama, one of the first ones, where we posted online and said, send us your YouTube video about why you want to be in a conversation with President Obama. So people sent in videos. We received over 10,000 YouTube videos. To have the opportunity to have that kind of conversation and living over from Google Plus to YouTube. So we leverage we leverage YouTube as a crowdsourcing tool, if you will. Paired that with the Google Plus Hangout, we were able to select 6 people of diverse backgrounds, have very, very candid conversation with the president. And I always share that example even with brands, because then you think, you know, let's take any brand. Let's take Smart Water. This is not endorsed, but it's in front of me. If Smart Water wants to have a campaign, let's say they're collaborating with the National Environmental Organization, and they want to hear from students. How do you, what are the issues you care about the environment as they relate to water? I'm literally making this up as I go. And you can actually crowdsource ideas from people through YouTube, through videos. It's much more compelling than just sending in a little post. People really take good ideas from YouTube. They find the talent or individuals in the community, and then they get them together in a Hangout. And it's really, really cool to see how they're leveraging that, that we call it the town square that is now online. Yeah?
Yes?
I know you mentioned that the multicultural aspect of most art is fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have plans to do any type of mentoring type program? I was part of the Google Next Up back in 2011, and that was really a great source of information.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are on the YouTube side. We're growing our partnership support level program. And have you lately tapped into youtube.com/creators? If you don't, I encourage you to go there. There are a million pieces that you can tap into that. And we are developing an ecosystem where we are proactively reaching out to you. There are so many content, so less people that on our side that can engage on one-to-one, but we're putting more and more resources on that side, and we are growing our system in order to give you more personal relation. But it's if I can give you some piece of advice on Google, most of your questions are already online and are searchable. So most of the things that you can learn about that are going to be there already. So I encourage you to go back there and really tap into the things that we are putting. That's on YouTube side.
No, I agree. I think it's very true. A lot of the information is online. A lot of times when people ask me a question, I'm able to send them a link to something. So many of you are already past that stage where you've already exhausted all the resources, but those of you just starting out, that's a great place to begin, just searching for the information. Just on the websites we have, we have Google for Media as a site, we have YouTube Creators website. The other thing, you teed me up really well, so I wanted to ask you to do two things for us. With the hashtag #SoyGoogle, if you want to engage, one, I have a question for you, is what product do you want to learn more about? Using hashtag #SoyGoogle, what product do you really want to learn more about? And what we're going to do, and I've mentioned this before, but we really are taking it seriously. We have a team, these Googlers that I said, it's my Hola team. They're experts. They're Latino Googlers who are experts across products. And so we're able to do, we've done this, we beta tested this with some of the blogueras when Google Plus first launched. I think Blanca was one of the first in that hangout where we talked about how to use Google Plus. People were learning the ins and outs. They were the very first early adopters. And so we did that with Google Plus. We can do another hangout around analytics or AdWords. And there's a workshop tomorrow, and I really encourage you all to go. These fantastic Googlers have traveled all the way out here to share with you in person. But we also want to make sure that this goes beyond the scope of the room. So if you know people who aren't here present, how can we make sure that we're creating hangouts using our own technology, hangouts on air, to make this information as accessible as possible and making it relevant to you? So what are the products you want to learn about for your initiatives? So that's one. Let me know, what products do you want to learn about? We'd love to kind of crowdsource ideas from you so we know, is there a lot of interest in AdSense or AdWords? You know, what are the products that would really make a difference for you? The second thing is, to your question, is Google doing anything? So this year we'll be piloting we'll be collaborating soon because our teams are now much more in line, which is exciting. We've grown and this is a big year for us. One of the things we're piloting this year is we're trying to find the Latino creators and telling their stories. I do it off the cuff. I talk about LatinaMom.me and different others, but we really want to find examples of all of you who are doing amazing things on their platforms. So we not only want to find you, we tell us your story, please. We want to hope that I want to show you guys on my next deck of slides. But we also want to make sure we're helping you go to the next level. Something like the Next Lab is an incredible program, definitely. But it sometimes does help to add the Latino perspective, especially if your content is made for Latinos. So we'd love to, I'd love to invite the whole room, but that's going to be challenging. But we want to find the people that are really taking these products seriously, who are doing amazing things in their field. And we know, okay, if you're already doing incredible things with YouTube and you just want to get it to the next level, or you haven't monetized yet, you know, XYZ, we're going to be, like I said, use the hashtag #SoyGoogle, say, I'm interested in being a part of this. We're calling the Latino Creators Program. It's not even named yet. You guys are hearing it early. But I share things with you all sometimes when they're first being in beta because I like to create them with you. I like to take insights from you all to make sure that we're creating programs that are actually tailored to what you really need.
And to complement that, there are going to be two sessions. One tomorrow. One is specifically for journalists tomorrow with all the people from all the products that Ellie has mentioned. And then later, there's going to be a more hands-on content from a person on my team really driving you on how to go through rights management, audience development, and all the sorts of things that you can do with YouTube. Aside of that, we're going to be holding, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, since today, some one-on-ones and the whole week with people on our booth that it's called a cabana or something like that, right?
So my team is using technology to let me know if you're a creator, will you please come by our Google space? We'd love to interview you. If you are a creator on Google Plus, on YouTube, on Blog, or on whatever platform it is, This is something I'm glad that they didn't let me leave the stage without telling you. We're a team. They're reminding me. This is super important to us. We don't want to leave Hispanicize without finding at least 5 creators. I know there's a few in the audience. I'm looking at you, so please come say hi, because I know you do amazing things with our platforms. We want to tell your stories, and we really are taking this very seriously. We're creating case studies. I've already made some with some of you who've given me permission to share your story internally. But now this year, it's more about communicating that externally, because you are the ones who inspire us, and we know we can, if we really just wrap up your story in a cool way and highlight all the different product use, we can share that pretty far extensively externally too. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. So I'll answer on a personal level, something I've shared. So I've found amazing success in tapping into communities that exist online. So I mentioned Google Plus communities. I also found the community Latism. I'm a huge fan. There's a lot of people in the room from Latism. I love Latism, and I will give them public service announcements, promotions every day, because they're amazing. And what they do is, you know, it's a community, it's a familia. If I share a link with them, the ripple effect is incredible. I think it's how do you scale the person to person, like, Juanjo, check this out, please share this, with the digital element. So yeah, I think you can tweet it to journalists and different PR folks, definitely. But I think there's so much value in finding who those influencers are. Influencers are now very different from before. Love journalists, love media outlets, but now there's bloggers and there's people who are tweeters and Google Plusers who are so successful at what they do that if you just share the information with them, that's a whole new network to tap into, which is really cool. You're not doing this alone. There's people out there who want to share your messages, and they'll definitely share, you know, back and forth.
And then the other thing that you want to make sure, and by the way, I love your questions. Please don't think about these questions are, I don't know if I should share it. Those are the kind of questions that we would love to hear from you. You need to make sure that the content that you're sharing is really developed to gain that fan base that you're trying to reach. So get into a resource that it's online. It's called the Playbook. And tap into a section that it's called audience development. And you're going to find very useful tips and pieces like the thumbnail. If you're not doing a good thumbnail, most likely any person that is helping you to share that video, the rest of the fan base is not going to click into it. Then you can tap into, once that you get some of your content shared, you can tap into the analytics and find out what's happening. Most likely you're gonna be able to find, and that's the ability that our platform gives you. You're gonna be able to find that maybe in minute 2, the drops went down, the views went down, or maybe in minute 8, the drops go dramatically up. Understand what's happening in that portion of the video and try to replicate. So it's about getting some intel around what you're doing, but really do it with passion, but with a lot of intel behind what you're doing. And the Playbook is the greatest piece that I can recommend you to tap into.
Sure. Another quick point on that is, have you ever used Google URL shortener? I really like it. So it's if you Google it, Google URL shortener. Anytime I want to share a link, before I do that, I paste it into Google URL shortener, and it makes a short link. And then it also creates a QR code if you want to share that. But what I love about it is it shows me how many clicks I'm getting, in what parts of the world, at what time. So then I see when was there a spark. You know, if I shared something a week ago and there's still traffic, but something happened that is driving more attention to it, I can track that. In addition to the analytics as well, of course. But especially for a video where it's just, you know, the analytics are a little bit different. The Google URL shortener, I love that. It's really cool to just look at when the peaks happen. Yeah.
Yes, over here.
Oh, sorry, we picked on different people. Sure. We'll come to you next.
This is amazing.
Helpouts.
And I was wondering, I have 20 years of experience as a journalist, mostly in television. And I was wondering, because you was telling me about the different platforms that you guys explain.
I'll tell them what it is in a minute, because thank you for bringing that up. No, I just want to make sure you will get the info.
I do
For Helpouts specifically, or just generally? Yeah, so we're getting started. We have a lot of products to start working on. What we're focusing on right now is who is the most influential demographic of people who are going to help us share and scale the reach of the products. Normally, that's mostly the English-using web profile user. But that's, you know, the initiative, the example I gave of Get Your Business Online con Español, we translated that into Spanish because we knew that there's a lot of Spanish dominance on business owners that don't have a website. Helpouts specifically, you are one of the first people to have an experience with Helpouts at a Latino event. I met with the Helpouts team and we knew we were doing Hispanicize, and the idea of a Helpout is, I already explained what a hangout is, up to 10 people. A Helpout is one-to-one. It allows for experts like many of you to connect with people who want to learn about their area of expertise, and the expert can do it for free or even get paid, and they can include a link on their website. But we see that on YouTube, the most popular kinds of videos are how-to videos, because people are looking, how do I make my tie? How do I cook something? People love how-to videos. How do we take it a step further with our technology to allow for an actual conversation about it? So this is step one, is bringing it to you. Remember I mentioned part of it is just bringing Google information to you all so you know about it, and now you think it's amazing. I'm glad you like it. The next step is thinking about, now how do we tailor this for you all? We need that insight from you. How do we make sure that this is representative? So one thing is making collateral in Spanish, that's fine. But what's actually most needed is for Latino experts to use the platform. So you all now evangelists, right? If you want to participate in this, you can tell your neighbor, tell your friend that the Helpouts exist. What we really need is your help. We need for the faces on these platforms to look like all of us, so that people who are looking for not only, let's say, you're of journalism background, maybe I have a cousin, Sara, who wants to go into journalism, and I would say, chat with him. He knows so much about journalism. She isn't in the same area. I'd say, set up a Helpout with him. You are now a part of it. Exactly. How do you write a resume tailored to journalism? I mean, the list of things you could discuss goes on and on. So we ask your help. Please help us populate these Helpouts with all of your faces. If you are an expert in something, and again, you don't have to be invited to the table, but know that we are inviting you now. Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, and for those of you who are here in attendance, please do visit the booth. We do have 3 Helpout stations there with a few live experts for different topics. We have a personal trainer on right now, so if anyone wants any exercise tips, they're live over there on the computer. So.
And I think, are we on time? Do we have
I think we have a few more minutes.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually less about major brands and more about individuals like you. So the idea is, how can we create a platform that it's going to allow any of you to become an expert in your space? I would definitely encourage you to ask the Helpouts team right outside, because they may know of some that I haven't heard of, but I love that it actually allows any one of us to become an expert. Sharing best practices. Definitely.
There are no limits.
Oh, sorry. The question was, are any brands using Helpouts? And I mentioned that rather than mentioning a shout out to a brand, I wanted to highlight that it's actually amazing to see how people like any of us are now experts on the platform. But the idea is that what you just did, right? You said, oh, you kind of were thinking out loud. Maybe you can use a Helpout for connecting people who are community managers on social media. You know, there's a fitness expert, a personal trainer who is on the Helpout right now outside. If you want to ask him about, I actually should probably go talk to him. What can you do for personal training? You know, it's like, I want to be more healthy and active and all that. So any kind of topic you're looking for exists on Helpouts. But to his question, the point is, you know, how can we make sure we as a community make sure that Latinos are represented there too?
And that's a good point with, you know, Hispanic small businesses booming left and right. It's the perfect platform for Hispanics, actually.
Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about your Hola team, and you know, we know that you two are Hispanic employees at Google, but I'm sure there are many others. What are you guys doing internally to kind of promote the Hispanic agenda overall?
Taco Tuesdays. Sorry.
Thank you. We're doing a lot, so that was the easy answer. Thank you. So the best thing we can do is, the agenda is putting the user first. So what that means is, let's not just think of ourselves as just YouTube, as just Google+, as just AdWords. How can we bring all these products to the table and think with one agenda in mind? How do we present all these platforms to you all? So the Hola team, which I talk about, is really important because, Juan was an advisor to us, teammate and advisor. Like I said, there's folks here as well who are in the room. The idea is, how do we find Latino Googlers who happen to be Latinos but are actually really, really great product experts and bring them to the table to think about, my partner Sony Latin is in the room. Give them a shout out. How can we make sure that we're working with a partner like Sony Latin, or a small business for that matter, anyone really? It's almost like digital consulting, where we think, how do we think strategically across all these different product areas? Because for the user experience, my family is small business owners. We make organic tequila. And when I try to get my dad to think about AdWords, that's in a whole different dimension. He's on board with it now. But I explain how AdWords also has to do with your YouTube and Google Plus, and all the products interact. So we're trying to make sure that we are aligned across products, and not only are we aligned across products, but also bringing all your different perspectives to the table as well. I have a team of now 75 Googlers who dedicate their passion area 20% time to this, and they're extremely diverse. Where, Susana is Cuban American. I'm learning about the Cuban Miami experience, and I'm sharing with her my Mexican American experience. As part of creating a truly multicultural space at Google is representing all the products and the faces that you all represent. How do we make sure Google is representing the diversity of our user base?
Awesome. We have time for a couple of more questions if anyone has.
This is just a question out of curiosity. In Facebook, you don't have a dislike button. In YouTube, you do have. So how do you measure engagement? Does the dislike, is a measure of engagement, or is something totally negative?
It's totally a measure of engagement, and it's not really a bad thing. For some creators, it's actually something to measure if they are engaging in whatever you're sharing. So it's not about that they are disliking. I mean, it's a fact that they are engaging. So you can tap further into analytics, and you can understand about the reaction and the ripple effect and the commenting. So I would like to think about that as broader tools that let you tap more into what is going on with what you're sharing with that fan base and understand them better. And at the end of the day, you're creating things that are going to be not all the times liked by them, but they're going to be creating a conversation, and that's what you need to tap into.
I received a lot of awesome questions on Twitter, not specific questions, actually product areas that people want to hear about. So I'll just poll the room to make sure. Someone says, I need to learn more about Google Hangouts and AdSense. Anybody else in the room want to hear more about that? Hangouts and AdSense? Okay, a lot of nods.
Maybe even say about AdSense a little.
Yeah, sure. So Diana Masueta is here with us. She'll speak more to AdSense tomorrow. But at high level, AdSense, for those of you who are not familiar, AdSense is our platform that allows for you as a content creator with your written word content or also on YouTube to get paid by Google for the traffic that you're generating. So that's the very simple idea. How do you monetize the content you have? Because the footprint of the traffic that's coming to your website or to your Google YouTube channel is really interesting. It's really, really I think it's very empowering to hear that Google wants this relationship with you. The other end is AdWords, the advertisers that want to put ads on this content. What Google does is basically pair you, your content creator, with advertisers that want to monetize the traffic you have and looking at the audience you reach. So that's at very high level. Diana Masueta will share a lot more context there. But I highly encourage any of you, if you aren't monetizing your YouTube channel now, I mean, you can probably speak to this too, but it's a really, really amazing platform that allows people to find you, and the traffic that's on your platform is really going to be something to create wealth creation around. Anything on that, the creators?
I think the other side, you're even able to place campaigns. And it's more than really a platform just for big brands and placing $1 million campaign. Thinking about, again, small businesses in the US Hispanic side, for example, you can place a very local targeted campaign for $500 and see how that goes and bring traffic back as a blogger maybe to your channel or to a website. Maybe you're beginning with an e-commerce page or something like that. So it's a two-way conversation where you can receive and you can place ads.
So that was on the AdWords front. If you're thinking about if paid marketing sounds a little intimidating, you can actually make it really customized to you, your budget spend. We see it's very effective. We see that small businesses are having tremendous growth using AdWords, which is an amazing tool that allows you to place, ads around the internet, but in a very targeted way, very geo-specific. They integrate with Google Maps if you have a local restaurant or something and want to find local business or just nationally online. Like I said, our team tomorrow, I don't want to steal all their talking points for tomorrow, but they have a lot of content to share.
Maybe even easier. On YouTube, as a platform, you're able to click and enable monetization. Everything happens through that backend.
For AdSense.
Awesome. Anyone else?
I think we're good.
No?
Thank you all so much for joining. I appreciate the standing room in the back. Thank you all, even who's joined us. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be here for the rest of the week. Please stop by and say hi.